Rap and Reason podcast with Dr. Jeremy C. McCool and Earl Hopkins.
They already call me Unc on the internet, bro. So I'm gonna lean into full Unkism, bro, and just tune into it.
You getting
We
Unc?
may even review it. Who knows?
You getting Unc in
Yeah,
your 20s?
bro. They call me Unc because they call us both Unc. I ain't gonna lie, because we be
Oh,
listening, because we listen to throwbacks. There ain't nothing
that's
wrong with
true.
that, bro.
That's true. I'll take it, man. Look,
Yeah.
Unc at 27 to 31 is insane, but
Insane, bro.
it's insane. But hey, it is what it is. I think we still big bro. We haven't graduated to Unc yet. I feel like
That's what I'm saying.
you got to be like late 30s, 40 to be Unc.
That's what I'm saying. But they didn't press the age up younger and younger. If you not, especially after we reviewed this Carti album. Oh my God,
Oh, we really gonna be Unc because I'm gonna
the
tell you.
Unc allegations are gonna be rampant.
I ain't never felt more like an Unc listening to a project in my life. So we can go transition over to this. Recently,
Yo,
Playboi Carti released a project, and this project is
yeah,
called "I Am Music." What would your
yeah.
thoughts on first listen?
I'm first. All
Absolutely.
right, man. I'm gonna be honest too. I mean that's the only way to do it, right?
And
I
I
would say,
and I also want to
oh,
throw.
go ahead.
I listened to episode 34, and and I heard that there was some Carti love there, and
There was some Cardi love.
I'm gonna be honest. I've never gave his music a chance because I've never heard anything that I liked. I'm gonna be honest. So I've never even listened to a Cardi project until this one. So this is blank slate. So what do you think?
Wow, this is blank. Okay.
Blank
All
slate.
right, so this crystallizes some things, right? Not that I would expect you to listen to the old stuff, but this is like this review will be very interesting for that reason. So I would say when I first heard this, the first song I play, obviously the intro is Pop Out. I said this is the worst intro I've ever heard in my life. Flat out. I've told my friends this. I was like, this intro is awful. Like it's not awful because of what he's not saying or saying, bro. It is sonically very bad music. You feel me? People gotta understand that. I don't care if you love this, you gotta understand that, right? So then it gets into Crush. And you know what I mean? I won't be too long on this. But I was like, this is already starting off on a bad note. We already heard K-pop. That was one of a handful of singles that he pre-released dang near a year ago before this album dropped. For those that don't know, he dropped this because he was actually like obligated to drop it. I'll get into that later. It's a lot of info. Maybe we'll share, maybe we won't. But he was obligated to drop this and he delivered, right? And so I'm listening to Evil Jordan, another song, another single that dropped roughly a year ago, and it's a new intro to it. I like it, and I ultimately I like the song when it dropped, and I like it now, right? Mojo Jojo, no, that's a no go for me. Philly with Travis Scott. I think like I'm gonna be honest, bro. I think every Travis Scott feature on here, you probably disagree. I think all of them were pretty bad or marginal. Like, yeah, I thought they were all
You said this as a Travis
forgettable.
Scott fan is shocking.
And I love Travis, bro. And it pains me to say this, but like every single time he stepped onto this album, I was like, why was he on here? Like it didn't add anything. But I will say, I will give it some light. So there are like a few songs that have made it to my playlist. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Right.
Radar. I love Radar, bro. I don't know what it is. It's infectious. Rather Lie with the Weekend. I think they got something there, bro. I think it got something. I don't know what it will do on radio or what have you, but I think they got something there. Um, we'll get into the Kendrick like features on here, but I like Backdoor enough. I like Munyon enough. Like a lot of these records are I like it enough to play it. Um, and it stuck with me. But like a lot of these, bro, like Twin Trim, I like. But other than that, I actually like Uzi on that too. I think he did a solid one on that. But a lot of these, bro, I just like the only ones that really I'm gravitating towards are the ones I already heard, like HBA. Like a lot of these I already heard, but most of this, bro, is it's like unforgivably bad lyrically, which is like not what you go into a Cardi project ever like looking to be impressed by, right? Like you don't look for that box to be checked. It's a vibe thing, but I felt like a lot of these records sound the same. Cardi is really dependent on production. I feel like a lot of the production wasn't really like blowing my mind. You know what I mean? Like whole lot of Red, the album that came out before this, which was 5 years ago. People like tend to forget that because Cardi does a good job, and we'll talk about it later. He does a good job of keeping his fan base grasping for more. You know what I mean? He'll give them a little here, a little there, and they just keep on. This fandom grows, which explains why this album actually reached at the top of Billboard this past week at 250 S streams or sales, right? Their equivalent sales. But yeah, bro, like this project is like it's just not it, bro. I think a lot of his fans are going to be satisfied with what he provided on this one. That's all he can do. You know what I'm saying? But as an objective hip hop fan, as once a big Cardi fan too, honestly, like this didn't really like sit that well with me. I think there's a decent amount, like there's some decent ones on here, but the majority, I think, bro, may have gone 8 out of 30, bro. Like for me, what do you think?
Well, I am so glad. See, this is why we work so well. Give
Yeah.
on stuff that I don't know about. I don't know anything about Cardi's backstory, prior projects, or any
Mhm.
of that. But I will tell you one thing: I don't like this album at all.
You
And there are
standing on it.
surely not 8 songs on here that I like. So let me just go ahead. Not even that. Probably not half of that.
What did you text me before you finished? You were like, I'm gonna try to get through to this through.
I'm gonna try to get through it, and it was painful. It was painful, bro. I'm not gonna lie to you. I was in the car like, man, this is ruining my drive. Like, I'm not gonna lie. It was the so
Yo.
this and what's wild is I actually like some of the production on here. The worst
Mm.
on this album is him. Let me be very clear.
Oh yeah.
Problem on this album. The one positive I'll say is I respect the creativity of him. His voice sounded different on every song. I think that's pretty
Yeah.
cool. Um,
Hmm.
all the different pitches and like on one verse
Yeah.
it sound kind of future like with a deeper voice, and then another one is super high. So I like that he plays around with the voice. The lyrics are some of the worst lyrics I've consumed in the last 3 years. I'm gonna be honest. The lyrically this is awful. I mean, next level bad. Like I'm not going like there's no even there's nothing even redeemable about the lyrics on this. I was trying to find something, and it'll start off okay,
Yeah.
and then it just get worse and worse and worse. And I'm gonna even be real with you, bro. Kendrick couldn't save him, and this is a great transition
Mhm.
into Kendrick. I don't like some
Yeah.
of the. I don't even like the Kendrick stuff. I'm gonna be real.
Nah, I don't. I
I don't
don't,
really
bro.
care for the Kendrick stuff either. Like outside of some of the
Mm.
wild lyrics, I thought the Uzi one was catchy.
Yeah.
I thought that the one with Future was decent. With Trim, I
Hmm.
thought that was decent. The best song on this project to me is the one with Young Thug and Ty Dolla $ign, and I think that is
Okay.
I like Ty Dolla $ign's sound and
Yeah.
and harmonies and stuff on his music enough that I think it
Mm.
saved that song, and I think that that's a cool song. That's probably the only
Yeah.
one on here I would ever listen to again intentionally.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
and I think Ty Dolla $ign just really can't do wrong. 'Cause I think he's just that good of a songwriter.
He is though. His pen is crazy.
And it's crazy. His voice sounds dope on songs. So I think that one was cool. Even I like Young Thug's version on that too. I thought it was cool. But
Yeah.
Kendrick wants to get into those. I'm gonna be real, man. Like, good credit. I thought that number one, the first verse is so terrible that if I didn't know Kendrick was on the song, I would have turned it off after 20 seconds. You know what I mean? But so he
Yeah.
flipped it. He should have put Kendrick first because I'm probably never gonna listen to the song again because I'm not gonna want to have to fast forward to Kendrick part every time. But Kendrick's verse on there was cool, but I just think it even wasn't enough to save how bad of a song that was to me.
Mm.
So I still don't like the song, but I think that Kendrick was giving some bars on there.
He was giving some bars though. I
Kendrick
will
was
give.
rapping on there. He had some lines on there that I was like, oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
Oh, you came on here to rap for real. Like,
Is that the one where he said, what did he say? My hoes on point, or my girls
oh,
on point like ASAP Rally or something? Crazy. Crazy bar. I loved it. I loved it.
yeah, there was some bars on that one. That one I
Yeah.
like a lot. His verse.
Yeah.
The rest of it was terrible.
Mm.
Backdoor. I almost liked it. I was close,
Yeah.
but Cardi ruined it again because he just rambling off random stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm a lyric person in music, so everybody's different. Some people are more inclined to just pay attention to the music and just the
Yeah.
beat. And for those people, this is probably fine. Some of these songs probably work more. For me, I'm a
Mhm.
lyric person, so like for me to like, if you ain't saying nothing, it's
Mhm.
gonna be hard for it to resonate with me. And Cardi's just
Yeah.
blabbering random stuff throughout the
Yeah.
song. It's like, bro, this is not even cohesive.
Yeah.
So yeah, that one was cool, but I still never gonna listen to it again. Um, and then what was the other? It was another Kendrick one on here, wasn't it?
What was it on? I feel like he snuck up on Mojo Jojo. I think he did like
Yeah,
ad libs.
yeah, he did
Yeah.
like ad libs on that. I thought the ad libs were fire. Actually, I actually did like
Mm,
ad libs. I thought that it worked well, with the song, but Cardi still, the lyrics are so bad, bro.
mm,
Like, and it's
yeah.
crazy to be at that level and have lyrics that are that bad. It's just like, bro, just work with somebody to help you write it at this point. I just go ahead.
Yeah.
It's not like anybody is heralding him as a great MC anyway. So,
Mm,
like, and I get what he's trying to do. He's trying to kind of fuse the rock with
for
rap
sure.
and kind of do like a
Yeah.
hardcore
Yeah.
type of thing. But the lyrics are just so bad that they're not even decent. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can just get it to like Future, prime example. Future is to me is not a good lyrical rapper. I don't know if you would agree or disagree.
Not a lyricist. I would not.
Lyrically, he's nothing. You know what I mean? He's not the greatest, but I
Mm.
think that he usually keeps his lyrics at a baseline level where it's tolerable. You know what I mean?
For
It's
sure. I would say tolerable is a good
yeah,
word.
like it's okay. You know what I mean? And if he could have
Yeah.
got his lyrics to okay, I probably would have been able to process some of this more. But it's bad.
Mm. Yeah.
Yeah. The only song on here that I will ever revisit again, I think, would be the Ty Dolla Sign and Young Thug. So
Ever.
that's
Nah,
one.
yeah.
That's one for me. Is one. Is we got 1 for 30.
Yo, that's crazy. So
I'll give
for
him.
our
I'll
listeners,
give him 2 for 30 at best. I'll give good credit because Kendrick went crazy.
so for our listeners, like I'm sure you like, so I know McCool enough to know he wasn't gonna like most of this. So I am more willing to. That's why I was a Cardi fan because I would still say like I haven't jumped off like the Cardi fan bus completely because I will say I haven't seen him perform these live. So obviously this is a new album, but I've never seen him perform live. Period. Now my friends, my people tell me it's a different. You gravitate to the music different. I can imagine that. You feel me? But I think you make a good point in like there's rappers that have combined rock and roll or rock like a lot more seamlessly. Like I think a good example is I would never compare him to Cardi, but like Tizo Touchdown, I don't know if you're familiar with his music, but he combines rock like somewhat in his music. But yet, like in interviews and just from listening to the music, you can tell he puts MCing first. You know what I mean? And so I feel like you can strike a balance between the two. I listen to Cardi straight off vibes. But I don't feel like the vibes really held up over 30 songs, bro. Like I think that's what was missing. I think it was way too long. Um, versus like a Die Lit, which is like the project before his last album. I think that's like still his best work because I know a lot of times we give rankings and stuff. You obviously haven't heard his other stuff, but I would say this is for me. I would say this is probably where would I place I Am Music? I would probably place this at the bottom, yo. Like
Mm,
I would place
okay.
Dilit first, self. I would place. Oh, that's tough. I would place self-titled second, whole lot of red his last album third, and I would place this last. That's where I would place.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right. So I'm not the only one who wasn't feeling it. So all right, all right.
yeah,
Yeah,
you know.
I couldn't do it, man. I tried though. I did.
But let me ask you this though: what do you say to like? Because this is a larger conversation. How I think Cardi is revolutionary only in this way. And I had this conversation with one of my boys earlier today. For someone that hasn't put out an album in 5 years, which is a death sentence for most rappers, period. And for his leaks, like his song leaks, which whether it happens accidentally or purposefully, we won't really be able to tell, right? But these artists are too strategic for us not to like kind of think side or look sideways or think in another way. What do you say to artists that are able to still garner a fan base or to garner an evolved fan base that have even grown older with the artist? Despite not having a full body or a full project or even like a hit record necessarily. Like, what is there a talent in that?
Oh, well, I wouldn't say talent. I would say there's you've managed to be able to connect with your audience on a somewhat deeper level. I think
Yeah,
for the people who are able to do that, you've built a fan base that sometimes it's not even just your music; they're a fan of you. And I think in his case,
Yeah,
that might, I don't know, because like I said, I haven't listened to his other music. I think it's, but from the outside looking in, it appears that a lot of people are fans of him more,
right.
more than the music. So I think that
Mhm.
you build that type of parasocial relationship with your audience, then I think it's a different dynamic. I think it's they're gonna listen to whatever you release, regardless of what the quality is, because they like you. Um,
Mhm.
that is, I guess you can say that is a talent. The ability to be able to build that type of audience in mass,
Yeah, it's
and there,
tough.
it's very difficult to do. So in that case, it is a talent, but I wouldn't say it's a musical talent. I think it's the same talent that a YouTuber would have. It's the same talent
Mhm.
that a social media influencer would have. I think it's that type of talent. I don't necessarily know if it's a musical talent. Cause I'm be
And I
honest,
think it's in that realm.
I didn't hear no musical talent here. I'm be honest. I'm be honest. I ain't hear no musical talent here, but there,
Yeah,
them to build an audience this big, and yeah. What were you gonna
yeah.
say?
And whatever side of your brain like activates that, yo, I think Cardi has tapped into it, but ironically, it's in the opposite way because his mystique. Not a lot of artists can get away with mystique, right? Like the whole because his brand is built on the vamps. Like he's on some vampire type of time. It's some rock star type of time. So the fact that he doesn't do interviews, his social media presence is really like
Yeah,
sparse. Like that's it's unique how he's built that level of fandom, bro. Because like, do you have a Cardi song that really sticks out into your mind? Like that's a hit. Like the only one to me that could like that's considered a hit that's that's kind of transcended like genre maybe is like in New York I'm Millie Rock.
yeah.
How did he my son? Like that's probably the only one.
That's the one I was
Yeah.
thinking. That was the only one of his I knew. Like if somebody had a gun in my head right now and said, "Man, sing three Cardi songs," I'd be out of here. You know what I mean? Well, other
Yeah.
than the album, I wouldn't know any other his music, but that's the one I know is the Millie record.
Yeah.
And that's the
So
only one I think has transferred over into mainstream success.
yeah.
But I think,
Yeah.
like I said, he built such a big audience that he's able to still do big numbers without that, which I think is impressive. Like I said, and like you go back to the imagery, it's the style, it's the
Mhm.
social
All
media,
that.
it's the mystique, and I think all of that. I think that's a talent. I think he's probably a branding genius.
Yeah, gotta be, bro. And
Gotta
like
be.
he's influential. I can't say he's not influential because you got a lot of artists from Atlanta that's kind of like, you know what I mean, follow his path. So for all his faults or perceived faults, like he's doing something right, bro. You
And
know?
I'm gonna be honest.
Like,
I honestly, my biggest question, and we can move on after this, is my
mhm.
one of my biggest questions is, I wonder why. What made Kendrick want to collaborate on this album?
Yo, I was gonna ask you that, like, because like I saw a video from Anthony Fantano, and basically his stance, I didn't see it in full. I only saw like a portion of it, but his stance was he felt like it was kind of contradictory, right? Because of the messaging in Kendrick's music, especially as of late, and how him hopping on a Cardi album, few songs, like that kind of like he felt as though it was kind of
I, I
yeah.
yeah, I kind of agree. I agree
You
there.
agree?
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. I agree. I agree because even some of the songs that he was on, it's like Cardi is just blabbering about using drugs,
Mm.
you pop Molly, at a party, killing people,
Yeah.
just random spurts of just nothingness. So I don't know. I don't necessarily know what will make an artist at the level of Kendrick Lamar outside of just, I mean, visibility. But it's not like Kendrick needs any visibility. So maybe they're friends. Maybe he just knows them and just wanted to do it. But
Yeah.
I didn't see the value in this move, to be honest.
And I'll be honest too. I didn't say this, but I don't feel like, of course, Kendrick added something, but I don't feel like in the larger context of the album, I didn't feel like he had to be on the album. Like it wasn't like Kendrick, yo, bro, you are a necessity in this
No,
project.
I don't think he made it any
Nah,
better.
I don't think it made it any better. Exactly.
Mm-mm.
Like, what
No,
was the point? What was the end game? Like, and if it was, you know what I mean? Because we jeopardize or we critique Drake for like hopping on certain waves, right? And taking the essentially like appropriating, right? Like, and I'm not saying Kendrick appropriated this. That would be foolish, but in getting on this project and inheriting or like rapping on this sound, it just seems like out of character. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, and like I said, we've seen Kendrick hop on artists who we wouldn't expect him to do, like him hopping on Future's Mask Off and on the remix. But
Taylor Swift's Bad Blood. I guess.
Blood. But I think, but even on that front though, I think Kendrick added something to both of those.
Exactly.
Mask Off verse was impactful to me. Like it was like, oh, this is something. Like he came on there to say something with a message.
The
Same,
culture stopped for sure.
and even Bad Blood, like I don't listen to Taylor Swift, but I think it's a solid song.
It's
So
a solid record.
I think that it made sense. But this was just very random to me. Very random. But
Yeah, and I don't think it added anything personally. It didn't make it better. You know what I'm saying?
no, I didn't listen to it and be like, oh, this is like it didn't make me even want to revisit those songs again. So to me, it didn't as a fan. Like I said, but of course, music is subjective. So somebody else might hear that and be like, oh, and they love those songs. But for me, it wasn't. It didn't make it any better to me. Rap and Reason Podcast with Dr. Jeremy C. McCool and Earl Hopkins.